there are a lot of startup funds in Finland and EU that you can apply for if you're starting a company. But sooner or later your sales will have to come first, and they will have to start making you the revenue.
Hello and welcome to another season of Business Ray. Our new guest today is Samuli.
Hello.
Hello, Samuli, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Can you tell us your names?
Yes, so my name is Samuli Yrjönen. I work with construction field and diversity and inclusion.
Okay, you're welcome. So your profession is construction?
Yeah, I am direct a construction company. That is what I do by day, and then in the evenings I help running a company called Businesswiz, which is focused on diversity and inclusion.
Okay, so why do you think construction is something that is good for you, or?
I kind of ended up in construction by accident. My family is very much into construction, and then I just ended up working there, and I ended up studying construction, and turns out I'm pretty good at it. So I've been doing that since a kid. Yeah.
Oh wow, I see. Where it's like you grew up with.
Yeah, I grew up with it. My grandfather was a carpenter. My father is a construction engineer. And he was always building stuff, so I was always building stuff. The first time I got paid to build stuff, I was about 14 with an actual construction job.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I've been doing that quite a lot.
That's to say you have been entrepreneurial since you were younger.
No, not really. I did this side job where I was actually collecting golf balls and selling them as an entrepreneur, but that wasn't really that really wasn't construction at all. But it was a side job that what I was doing one summer before it was legal for me to actually work.
Oh.
Yeah.
But would you say that it built the basis of who you became?
Yeah, probably. I've always tried to figure out how to run things and how to do things and how to progress myself and others around me. So yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's interesting. What does it mean to be a business director in a construction business? What does it entail being a business director?
Well, being a business director means directing the business. So my responsibility is running the company, basically.
Okay.
We still have a CEO who is the owner, half owner, and he just sets the vision and the strategy with my help, and my job is to implement that strategy, get the contracts, make the contracts, make sure everything's done legally and with good quality, and
okay,
that's what it entails.
Oh, so you say you have like really huge impact on the business?
Yeah, definitely.
Wow, that's so who you had a different part to this construction, but what are the different things an individual could do to be in construction work?
Well, you need to learn to build something, basically, or learn how to design anything. Okay. So like all businesses, if you want to do it, you need to learn it. You cannot just decide that, okay, I'll be a nurse and then apply for a nursing job and be good at it. I don't think that's how it works. So you have to learn the business. But in construction, it is good because you don't necessarily need 3-year, 6-year studies. There are so many different lines in construction that, okay, I will learn this one thing and I will become really good at it. And I can start doing it with a very little education and very few tools. And as you grow, you can grow your skills and tool set and everything.
Oh wow. Wow, it's really it directs you already from start.
Yeah.
Not like you go to learn everything then before you come to specialize on one thing.
Well, I would say that you can never learn to build everything. You can never learn to be good at everything in construction. There's so many things like today, if I want to build a house, tomorrow a bridge, and then the next day an oil rig. You see, all those are very different in their nature is very different. So it's good to specialize in something and be good at that.
Okay, so what would you advise entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs who wants to get involved with construction business?
Well, start small, do it, get the clients, and specialize in something. That's what would be my main advice. You need to get good at something and then start getting your clients to trust you, getting your people around you to trust you that you can make a good job, you can stay in schedule, and the clients will come back to you. Of course, you need new clients along the way, but what you really have to be all the time is reliable. So if you make a promise, you have to keep it. Especially in Finland, it is much better to say that I will not do this than to say that I will do it and then fail. You see, you will lose your face forever for that person. The other person will always remember that this guy cannot come through. Okay, so you need to be reliable.
Okay, so do you think it's necessary if starting a company, you should have a business director?
No, definitely not. You do not need a business director, especially at the starting phase. But if you're starting a company, that could be your role. You could be the business director. Business director is very much like the CEO. Well, not quite, but it is the person who is handling and operating the daily leadership of the business and running and making sure that everything is happening. So as a starting CEO, you are that person. But if you grow a little and you start noticing that maybe someone else would be better at this, at running the company, like maybe you are really good at sales, you can make really good sales and you can hire very good people, then you might want to consider that, okay, maybe I'll take someone who has more experience about growing a construction company, who has seen how this happens. Maybe I should hire a person to run the daily administration and stuff like that. And I can focus on getting the clients and getting good people in the company.
Oh wow, that's using your discretion, I would say.
Yeah.
If you're running.
Exactly.
Okay, so what advice can you give on sales and getting funded? How do they?
Sales and funded, two different things. Well, sales is something that has to be ongoing. You have to keep selling all the time. You need to calculate bids and offers and contracts. You need to give them, put it out to the world all the time. And you need to make sure that they are safe and profitable. So that's the sales in construction. And funding, there are a lot of startup funds in Finland and EU that you can apply for if you're starting a company. But sooner or later, your sales will have to come first, and they will have to start making you the revenue. Because if you cannot fund yourself with the sales, funding outside is going to be pretty much impossible in Finland. So you need to make a profit.
That's great. Okay, we've come to the end of the segment. Coming up next is we'll be talking about problem-solving tools and skills. Stay tuned. welcome back to our new episode on Business Way with our guest Samuli. Welcome back, Samuli.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now we'll talk about starting a business in construction area. So what does it take? What do you do to start a construction business? Paperwork, something?
It's the same paperwork as all businesses. There's plenty of free help around to start a business, luckily in Finland. But basically all you need is yourself and some tools to start a construction business.
Okay. So in Finland, can you tell us like where to acquire this information?
Oh, well, you should check the official sites. Is it, well, especially the job agencies, the TE-toimisto,
Okay.
the TE office. that helps people. They will give you free information on how to make a company and what is the paperwork that you need to do. I think registering a company costs about 250 euros nowadays. So that is the minimum investment that you need to make.
Okay, great. Well, back to your company. In 2017, your company's turnover was 11.9 million euros.
Right.
And you have 110 permanent employees.
120.
120 now, okay. And you also celebrated your 25th anniversary. So what does that mean to you?
Well, it means a lot to me, but I am a very new recruit in the company. I have only worked here 6 months. It is a great company and actually 60 years old company.
Wow.
So it is already on the verge of second generation switch. So that's why I am hired there as a business director. The CEO is looking to retire and he needs someone to run the company for him.
All right. Wow.
And then his own family is still studying to how the family business will work.
All right. Okay, great. That's really nice. It's like a program for replacement.
Yes, exactly. So it is a controlled replacing and especially takes a lot of courage to hire someone from the outside, not forcing it upon your like descendants that, okay, you will run this now, but actually using outside help and making sure and teaching them, like the CEO, Heikki Nurminen, he has been a very good mentor in this. So I am still learning the business and he is helping me a lot. So in this way, it's controlled switch. Yeah.
Wow. This is really interesting. I would say, because usually it's kind of challenging to replace, especially in family business.
Yeah, this is one of the biggest risks involving in construction business.
Okay.
And mostly the construction businesses fail during this time. So
when it change hands.
Yes.
Okay.
So you need to do it in a controlled manner, because it definitely is a huge risk in a construction company.
Wow. I hope I know that it's working.
Yeah. Working for now, yes.
So I will be waiting for the good news.
Yes. Me too.
All right. We go now to customer feedback. How do you handle negative feedback, or have you had any kind of feedback from your customer?
Well, there is of course always feedback. The longer you work, the more you get the feedback, and it starts coming. And with negative feedback, you have to take it. You have to take it see it as a place to grow. Take it as you did wrong here, and could you maybe improve this next time? But as for the client view, you need to make sure that the client understands that these views have been taken in consideration, and that they understand that they are being heard. And we are gonna fix the problem. And we take responsibility that, okay, we did wrong, but we want to make it up to you.
Okay. Is it that you involve the client in the problem, in adjusting or solving the problem? As in, like, do you ask the client what they want?
Yeah, well, that would be the best way to handle, in my opinion, because if you don't hear the client, if you just do what you want to do, you will most likely go wrong. But if you listen and hear what the client wants, then chances are you'll be doing better than expected.
That's right.
Because it could be that the client just wants to complain. That could be the case. And if you listen, it's done. That's the only thing you have to do. And sometimes it could be as easy as cleaning the windows, and then they will be very happy.
Wow.
Yeah, but you need to listen. That's the key.
Yeah. That's the secret, eh?
Yes.
Okay. So now this is about construction, going international construction business. So I'll relate it to you that Mr. Bello's family has a construction company in Nigeria running. Mr. Bello is the founder of Businesswiz, Ray Global Digital. So he has this.
Good man.
Yeah. So his family is running their business. It's a construction company.
Right.
So I was wondering if your company has this in the future, or it's already international.
Well, currently no, and not in the next 5 years. No, we are mainly in the capital region of Finland.
Okay.
But in the 90s recession, when there was nothing being built, when I was still playing at the sandbox, these people were working in Russia.
Oh, right.
So they were doing there. A lot of Finnish construction companies went to Russia for work just to get over the recession and make it, just to survive, basically. But yeah, the bigger companies, they do work across borders. For example, Skanska, NCC, these are like the biggest companies in Finland. And I used to work for this company called ISG, which is called International Service Group. So they were working all across the world, in Finland, Croatia, Spain, Egypt, Abu Dhabi, all the places. They were specialized in building hotels and data centers. So it was a Google site that I was working on.
What can you tell about the challenges you face or encounter, because you're running a business and you own one? So how do you handle quite huge package?
Yeah, well, owning a business and running a business is obviously very time-taking. So that is the biggest challenge, I would say, in the combining those two things. But luckily, the one that I partially own, I don't have to do by myself.
Okay.
My fiance and my business partner does the daily operations of the company, Businesswiz. So it's easier for me to be more on the advisory side and handling the administration and the financials. So time would be the biggest challenge.
Oh, wow. So there's no connection between your profession and Businesswiz?
There is a huge connection because construction field in itself is very diverse in terms of nationalities. We still need more women to the field, but there are a lot of nationalities working on construction. And whereas Businesswiz, we work with diversity and inclusion, and we like coach and train people, and especially leaders, how to handle the teams that are multinational and diverse, and how to be more inclusive. This can be directly implemented in the construction field, which gives a huge advantage, so that the teams do feel like they belong, even though they might be working in a foreign country. But if they feel like they belong in the team, at least they feel like they're belonging somewhere, and that therefore the team works a lot better.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of employee environment or employee interaction and work it's a big challenge in Finland. Even the
Yes.
different culture. So
Yes.
I think that it's very vital.
Yeah, it is very vital, and
Absolutely.
it is definitely needed. And these two businesses are very different. Like construction is one of the world's oldest businesses, and I think in basic necessities of a human, shelter comes about fourth. Whereas diversity and inclusion, it is basically, it's not a basic necessity of a human, but I think and I believe that it is a basic necessity of a company and a corporation to rise above competition. So if you want to be very good, you need to be diverse and inclusive, and you need to know how to do this. And in terms of challenges, the clientele in construction is huge. Everybody is basically a potential client. But whereas in for Businesswiz, diversity and inclusion doesn't come to anyone's mind. So it's more about raising awareness and making people realize that, okay, this is actually an advantage that I could have. Whereas construction means that, okay, if I don't repair this, water will leak into my face when I sleep.
That's right. So basically, Businesswiz is you take the services to the customer.
Yes, yes.
But rather with construction, the customer tells what they need.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Completely opposite.
Opposite.
Yeah.
Wow. That's demanding.
Yeah, it gives you a certain advantage point and a view that you can see difference from, I mean, things from different perspectives.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great work. So, to what do you attribute your success?
Luck. And I have been always working, and I have been always trying to better myself. You know, I do sports, I read books all the time. I did go to school, but then again, I have remembered to also change the free time. Like I'm not just about work. I'm not just about progressing myself. I also have hobbies that I enjoy and get my mind off of these things. And then with a fresh brain, I can again think on these other things.
All right, great. We have come to the end of this episode. Coming up next is learning or understanding and directions how to start up a construction company and setting. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Still on Business Ray. Welcome back, Samuli.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we will talk about marketing. How do you market your business?
How do you market your business? Well, best way to market is networks and the people you know. That is where you get the best deals and you get the most reliable source of deals. So obviously you need new contacts and new clients, but the best way to keep a sustainable construction business is retaining your existing clients and keeping them happy. If you can get a steady flow of cash and contracts from existing clients, then it's easier to expand and take on new clients one by one and making sure they get the same service and same quality as you have been giving to your other clients. But of course, in terms of general normal marketing, social media is a good place. Google ads, anything targeted marketing. If you need new clients, I would start from there. And we have this Finder, all sorts of free even websites where you can just say that, okay, I exist. Maybe ask a bid from me, and I will give you a price, and maybe we can do something.
Okay, so how old is your company? How long has your company been running?
Technically, it's less than 1 year old. There was some administrative changes. We work with a new company register number, Y-tunnus, because of this generation switch.
Okay.
But in fact, the company in practice is just over 60 years old. So it was founded by my CEO's father as a one-man painting company in 1960.
Yeah.
So the company has existed almost, well, actually more than half the time that Finland has been independent.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's wow.
Yeah.
That's really impressive. But I was thinking about that. Maybe since it's really old company and the marketing strategy, the old one.
Yes.
Do you still use some of them, or are they all back on the shelves? And
Yeah,
do you
well,
bring replace?
as it is an old company, we don't really have to rely on any marketing strategies. People already know, all the major players already know that Nurminen Works is the best painter in the field. They already know that, and every time they ask for, plan on that painting something, they ask us. Like Tripla, for example, the Mall of Tripla, that is our handwriting. Mall of Redi, that's also our handwriting. We almost painted this one, but we just lost the bidding competition on this mall.
Okay.
Yeah, but we don't have to do that. But we are currently expanding to repair jobs also. So we are doing renovations more and more. So there we have to do a lot of marketing. If we want to paint, that's no problem. But if we want to work as the main contractor on a repair job, a renovation job, there is a lot of marketing, and that is what I do. And my networks, that is my responsibility to let everyone know. Basically, you just let everyone know that we do this, and then they come to you in the simplest form, and make sure that when they come to you, you can deliver.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't. Okay, I am not going to comment on that. We are in a totally different environment.
Yes.
So I was wondering, what can you advise? The advice you give to a young entrepreneur in construction or wanting to do that, about getting these clients. What's the important thing they should focus on?
I would, I think I said it before and I'll say it again, is the reliability.
Okay.
You start small, you make sure that you deliver, they will start asking you for more, because construction, they tend to expand very easily. Let's say you have a house owner and he wants his floor renewed, okay? And you go and renew the floor. Then he sees that, well, the walls actually look quite old. Maybe we should do this at the same time. So then you do the walls. And now the new walls and the new floor, the kitchen looks very old. So you see, it keeps expanding easily. So if you are there, and if you can start small and expand from there and deliver, that is a recipe for success, I would say.
Oh, wow. Start small.
Start small, deliver and expand. Yeah.
All right, great. Well, I want to ask this, that is there a particular thing a client sees or client need to see from you? Let's say if you want to acquire a new customer, is there anything special you do to get this contract?
Unfortunately, mostly it's about money.
Okay.
So you need to know how much the contract will cost you, and what do you need to do to make it profitable. So there is the right price, there is the too cheap price, and then there is overprice. So if some unlucky contractor bids a too low price, they will most likely make a loss, and it will not be fun for anyone because they're always arguing about money. But if there is the right price and you have the right methods and you are efficient and you can do it with lower costs than anyone else who is also competing for the job, then you are good. That is very, very good position to be.
Wow.
So it's not easy always, because even if you give the right price, you might still lose the contract.
That's right.
Yeah.
Competition.
Yes, competition is always there.
Okay, now we go to COVID-19. COVID-19.
Right, Corona.
Yes, Corona. How did Corona?
Yes.
What did Corona do to you guys?
Well, completely changed every meeting basically. So when, as before, everybody would meet at the construction site, now everybody would be at their homes, and considering small details on how to solve some issue becomes a lot more difficult because you're not there. You cannot see, okay, we need to solve this. And of course, there's a lot of foreign labor in Finland. And if there are Corona restrictions, they cannot get home. They cannot go home to their families.
That's right.
Or if they do, they might risk that they're not coming back anymore.
That's true.
So there's that. So the laborers are very stressed currently, and it's not a good thing. So, and then the other thing is basically all the contracts and all renovations, they just got delayed. So for the last 6 months, there hasn't been any decisions that, okay, we will start. It has been mainly decisions that we will currently withhold from doing it. So there is a small bubble, I would say, coming in construction field, that when we get through this, everybody starts building. All the things that were delayed need to be done immediately.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
So adaptation has been working from home.
Yeah, with the designers and like managers, they can still work from home partially. Of course, the site managers, they need to be on the site and leading the people and guiding, managing the work where it is done. But like designers, yeah, they can still draw from home. Even the real estate managers, they don't necessarily need to be here to tell what's going on, and they can just say, okay, on that floor and that floor, please go fix that.
Okay. Wow, that's really new.
Yeah, a lot of adaptation.
Yeah, and strange. I felt so many things were strange and lead to things.
Yes.
Before we took for granted.
Exactly.
Well, so what advice could you give entrepreneurs during this coronavirus time? How do they?
Hang in there. I don't know, just keep fighting. It's a struggle, but you need to keep on fighting. Never give up. That's, you just gotta go on no matter what. There might be disappointments more than usually at this point, but you just gotta do it. And not at the cost of making a loss. So it's still about business. It's still about making a profit. So if you're just doing it for charity and just because you want to work, but you want to pay the other person that you get to work for them, it doesn't make any sense. You still have to struggle and fight and make a profit.
Okay. There you go. You have to fight, struggle, make profit.
Yes.
Okay. COVID, no COVID-19. So we have come to the end of this segment on Business Ray. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure being here.
Pleasure was ours. Thank you so much. Till we meet again, people. Bye.